Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, Craig here with another great business to discuss in this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Chase and he's selling his Amazon KDP business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Chase. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you for asking. And I'm looking forward to talking more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. It's an Amazon KDP business in the pet care, finance and food and beverages niches, created in July 2018. The average monthly revenue for the business is $13,459 and it makes an average of $11,872 net profit each month. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 54259 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's have a look at what's included in the sale. We have 85 ebooks, many with paperback and audiobook versions, 3 domains and all sites content and files, 8 pen names, 66 unused ISBNs purchased from Boca, an email list with 2,700 contacts stored in a CSV file, Ingram Spark promo code, Instagram account, and a trademark. Okay, Chase, now let's hear from you. Can you tell us a little about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, so this was actually my first business, and I was pretty new to the industry, and this business is typically the cheapest with the lowest cost of entry and with the lowest overhead. So that was my experience, and then now after 2 and 3 years, I have a couple other businesses that I'm trying to focus on. So I have built 2 to 3 businesses, and this one was my baby at the beginning, and it's helped me leave my job and do all those things. So it's been a great run.
Yeah, that's quite a common story for Amazon KDP. This is quite a low barrier to entry. How come you chose KDP over something else that's low barrier to entry, like affiliate or something like that? What attracted you to this business model in particular?
Yeah, so I was actually writing my book, and one of the chapters was about KDP. So in order to write that book, I needed to start the KDP business, and I started publishing because it was one of the cheapest business to get started. And that was the one that ended up generating results right from the beginning. So then I was like, wow, this one truly works. I started pursuing it more and more, and then it grew into something that I never imagined. And it worked out amazing. It's definitely the best business for anyone to start.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of successful entrepreneurs out there who would agree. And how come you decided to choose these niches in particular?
So I typically focus on evergreen niches, and that's niches that will work for the long term. So example, you mentioned pets are always popular, especially even during COVID. A lot of people got pets, so that's just proof that it works. And people always want to spend money on their pets. So if they want to train their new puppy or their dog has bad habits and they want to train them after that, they're always good niches to focus on.
Absolutely, yeah. And I guess that's partly reflective in the earnings, which have been quite consistent over the past 2 years as well. So that sort of reflects that. So how come is it that you're selling the business right now?
So this was my first one. This was my entry into the online business world, and it grew to places I never imagined. It got me out of my normal job, and it's allowed me to pursue some other interests. And currently I'm trying to give those my full attention. And I'm also trying to buy a house, which of course has gotten a little more expensive. So I decided it's best to sell the business now while it's still making good money, have a great opportunity for the new buyer to come in and just take things over and grow it from where it is before.
Excellent. Yeah. So was there anything you learned from building this business that you would apply to another site or a business?
Yeah, of course. So focusing on keywords, doing the advertising, especially all on Amazon. Amazon is the behemoth of the online world. So once you learn how to work on Amazon and how to make Amazon work for you, That's one of the most important parts of being in any industry. It's a self-feeding machine. So once you get targeted right and you start making Amazon sales, they want to give you more sales organically. So once you figure out the formula, that's when things get fun for sure.
Yeah, once you build up that momentum with Amazon, you start to get more opportunities for more sales. Was there anything that you tried growing this business that didn't work out for you?
So like you mentioned, I have 80 plus books that I publish. And just as with basically anything else, the 80-20 rule definitely applies. So my top 20% of books generate the majority of my income. So I learned that publishing the most isn't always the most successful way to do it. So if you can focus on certain niches that work and then build those out. And so once you get a book placed right, do another one that's related to it, but maybe a little different. So I would say focus on the certain top niches, focus on your 20%. And that's kind of where a lot of the value comes in buying an existing business. Is the 80-20 rule no longer applies to you because you can see what has worked in the past on this particular business, the right niches and the ones that didn't work. So you don't have to waste any time. You can start building it higher on day one.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's one of the main benefits of buying an online business that's already established. You don't have to make the same mistakes or try the same tests that you tried when growing the business. Very fair
Absolutely.
point. So as for, we talked about like building the momentum on Amazon, and where do you say the majority of your traffic comes from right now?
Yeah, so all the traffic comes from Amazon. I actually do publish on Ingram Spark as well. That's maybe 10% at most on any given month. So the majority is on Amazon, and I've learned Amazon ads as well. So that's where most of the traffic comes from.
Okay, and Amazon ads, have you been running those from the start, or does that contribute to the traffic significantly as well?
I started running those maybe a year into the business, and yeah, it was definitely a move up in the business as far as revenue goes, and they're much more profitable than people think, especially for books, if you can get the ad right and the messaging right. So yeah, that's what we've been doing is mostly Amazon ads, and that's contributed a hefty amount for sure.
Excellent, yeah. And you mentioned before that the business is like pretty established and there's opportunities for the buyer to just come in and take it to the next level. So what would you recommend the buyer does to grow this business?
Yeah, so like I said, I've kind of been uninterested in this particular business, and that just goes to show the power of getting this business set up is that it can be passive. So on day one, what I would do, I haven't touched it in probably 12 months. I would come in and update the ads, update the keywords, and then I think immediately there will be growth on day one. And that's one of the major opportunities. And then, like I mentioned, the 80-20 rule. So you can focus on the top selling books and build out those niches even more.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes total sense. So you mentioned that the business is passive, pretty much like mostly passive. What are some of the tasks that you do to maintain the site?
Yeah, so honestly, since I haven't touched it, I literally haven't done anything in the last 12 months. But if you are going to grow it, then you'd have to find the ghostwriters, which of course I'll give all that information, the ones I've used and in the past, ghostwriters and editors, and then cover designers. So that's about it. I'd say maybe 2 to 4 hours per book, and that's about it. And then the ads, the software I use, of course, I can train the new owner on what I've used in particular, but it's just a CSV upload, and that doesn't take long at all either. So maybe per week, 5 to 10 hours if you're in true growth mode. That's about all.
Got it, yeah. And what skills or requirements do you think there are for someone who isn't familiar with these niches or this type of business model?
Yeah, honestly, it takes no skills or requirements, and that's one of the main reasons I started this in the first place. There's no barrier to entry. You don't need a college degree. You don't need any experience finding ghostwriters or anyone like that. You can go on Upwork or Fiverr and let technology work for you. You can find people all across the world who want to write for you. And so, yeah, there's no history you need to have at all.
Yeah, I guess outside of just gaining a basic understanding of how Amazon KDP business model works, there's not much specialist knowledge required, I guess is what you're saying.
And like I said, I'll show the software that I use for keywords and all that. That's about all you need to know is how to find the best words and target those.
Yeah, that'd be great for a buyer to have that support transition in the business over. But what do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
So obviously the biggest risk will be you're working on Amazon, so they control everything. But as long as you follow their terms of service, there really is no risk. So I wouldn't take any shortcuts ever. It's just not worth risking anything. So as long as you follow the rules, then you'll be good to go.
Absolutely, yes. Following the rules is important for any Amazon business. So yeah, I mean, we've covered a lot of great stuff today, but overall, putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Yeah, like I said, once you get it set up, I haven't touched it in 12 months and it's generated a good amount of income for me to live and do the things that I want to do. So it's worth buying because I think a new buyer can come in, maybe spend 2 to 3 months updating the keywords, the ads, focusing on some of my top niches and building those out a little more. And then if they want to, they can step aside and just watch the additional sales start rolling in, or they can pursue it, find VAs to do all that for them and keep growing without doing much work at all. So it's worth buying because it's been consistent and there's a huge opportunity for growth. I haven't really got many emails, especially from like the pet niche. So there's so many different opportunities you can use with this business.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you mentioned you're going to help the buyer with softwares and how to run the business. What sort of softwares did you use when running this business?
Yeah, so it was just software to find keywords and niches. And of course, I'll disclose those to any interested buyer.
Yeah, I noticed there's an email list included in the sale. And I guess there's an opportunity to monetize that email list. Or do you actively send emails to them right now?
Not at the moment. So that was a couple of years ago. One of my highest quality niches didn't work out that good. I think it's just because I didn't put a ton of effort in that particular niche. So I would definitely build that email list back up, start getting back in touch with them with some of the books that I'm including in the sale and some additional information that's not even published yet that I'm including. So the email is definitely something to pursue for the new owner that can have a huge ROI.
Yeah, makes total sense. And about the sale, would you commit to a non-compete?
Yeah, of course.
And how much support are you willing to offer buyers? Are you going for the standard 30 days of email and Skype support?
Yeah, 30 days is no problem. And like I said, I'll show any software I've ever used or even particular courses that I gain the most knowledge from and different Facebook groups where there's a ton of knowledge floating around, including one that I got all the information. I ended up going from $5,000 a month to $10,000 a month within just a few months being in this group and learning from this group. So I'll definitely disclose any of that to the new buyer and they can take it to the next level.
Wow, yeah, that's really great information for them to have. And about the sale of the business, are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
Not really, because like I said, I'm interested in buying a house at the moment, so I'm not really interested in an earnout. Might be buying another business down the road. So an earnout is not really an option.
Okay, anything else you'd like to share that I might have missed?
No, I think that's everything. That was a great interview. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time, Chase. It's been great talking to you.
Okay, take care.
All right, everyone, thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 54259. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.